everyone. I am Dr. A. Sindhuja, Assistant Professor in CSE Department in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. In this video, I am going to uh, going to give an introduction on multiple access and multiplexing, which is a topic coming under the course satellite communication. So, first of all, let me explain what is multiple access and multiplexing. That is differentiation between multiple access and multiplexing. Multiple access, it is a technique that permits many users to simultaneously access a given frequency allocation. What is multiplexing? It is a process to combine multiple signal for transmit it over single channel or a media. It will combine the multiple signal for what is the difference here? So if it is a multiple access, what it is doing, it is permitting many users to simultaneously access a given frequency. But when it is coming in the multiplexing, it is transmitting a multiple signal using a single channel. It is using only single channel or single media to transmit the multiple signals. So this is the difference between multiple access and multiplexing. What is multiplexing? I am going to give the detailed explanation about all multiplexing. So as I said previously, what is multiplexing? Multiplexing is a set of techniques that allows the simultaneous transmission of multiple signal across a single data link. Okay, as I said, it is going to transmit the multiple signals, but the data link is going to be single. Okay, so multiplexer is a device. So for doing this, multiplexer and demultiplexer are acting as the transmission media. So multiplexer is a device that combines several signals into a single signal. But what demultiplexer will do as it's a synonyms, right? So it will be vice versa of what multiplexer is doing. So this is a simple diagrammatic example so that we can have a clear-cut idea if there is no multiplexing, how the transmission will go. If there is multiplexing, how the transmission will go. If there is no multiplexing, the transmission needs data link for every transmission from the receiver to the edge, from the sender to the receiver. It needs each data link. Each data link has to be transferred from one end to the other end. But if you have multiplexing, so the mux and the demux, what it is doing, it is creating a single path, but channel can be more. How many channels it can be for multiplexing depends on how many senders sending the message. If 4 sender here, if you see from the diagram, the 4 sender are sending the message, then 4 channels are used, but path is single. Okay. So in single path, it is creating 4 channels for communicating each signal and transmitting. Next, concept of multiplexing. So as I said previously, here also it's explaining that if your sender 1 to n is sending through the multiplexer, this is a shared medium, that is a one single data link, and demultiplexer is receiving the data and it is combining the data and sending to the multiple. Okay, so this is the concept of multiplexing. Multiplexing in network. Okay, in multiplexing, how the multiplexing is working in the network. Network means basically we can say it is phone. We are talking in the phone, that is also network, right? If the phone is wire to wire connection, what it can do, it should have some wire to communicate each other. It should have, if there is no multiplexing, we want to the phone can be like a wire to wire connection. If speaker, every data link has to be there from the sender to the receiver. But nowadays there is no wire-to-wire connection, right? So multiplexing, what it is doing, it is receiving the data and it is creating different channel but single path. It's creating a different channel, combining and creating and sending the message through the demultiplexer, and in the receiver end, it is we can hear what we are speaking from the sender. So this is what in the networks multiplexing is using in the network. Okay. Then categories of multiplexing. In multiplexing, it's categorized into analog and digital. In analog, it having FDM, WDM, and digital it is having TDM. As I said previously, there is two different things, multiple access and multiplexing. It is completely different. So here also, it is not multiple access. FDM, frequency division multiplexing. Wireless division multiplexing, time division multiplexing. It's not multiple access. Okay. First, frequency division multiplexing. FDM is the analog technique. Okay, as I said, the categories diagram, FDM and WDM is the analog technique, right? So here is analog technique that can be applied when the bandwidth of the link is greater than the combined bandwidth of the signal to be transmitted. So when we want to choose this frequency division multiplexing, there are three divisions of multiplexing, right? So when we want to choose frequency division, so that is what here we are discussing. If the bandwidth of the link, what the link data link, the data link is what it is transmitting the from the sender to the receiver. The media from which the data can transmit from sender to the receiver is a link. Okay. The bandwidth of the link is greater than the combined bandwidth of the signal, which is to be transmitted. In this case, frequency division multiplexing we are using. So here, frequency division multiplexing signals generated by each device modulate different carrier frequencies. These modulated signals are combined into a single composite signal that can be transported by the link. Okay, the modulated signals are what it is doing, it's combining. Okay, it's combining into a single channel. Okay, as I said previously, it is link is going to be a single, but channel may be more. Okay, that is what is multiplexing is doing. It is combining the link, and inside the link there are different channels. Through the channels, it is delivering to the end user, that is receiver end. Okay. Frequency division multiplexing. Here, in this diagram, you can see that sender 1, sender 2 to sender n, it's transmitting through the multiplexer, from which sender 1 having different channel 1, sender 2 having channel 2, sender n till then. So how many senders are there? That many channel will be created. But the link is single. Okay, data link is going to be single. The channel only, it is having n number of channels. The same receiver end also, it will have n number of receivers. So here what we are seeing, n number of sender is there. So it is creating n number of channels for the n number of receiver. Okay. So this is the concept of frequency division multiplexing. In frequency division multiplexing, signals generated by each device modulate different carrier frequency. Okay, these modulated signals are combined into a single composite signal that can be transported by a link. As I said, the modulated signals, what it is combining, I told you, right? So it is combining into the single composite signal that can be transported by a link. Okay. Carrier frequencies are separated by n of bandwidth to accommodate the modulated signals. Okay. As I said, there are different carrier frequencies. How these carrier frequencies are separating by n of bandwidth. It has to hold n of bandwidth so that it can accommodate the modulated signal. So that I already said, right, how we are using this frequency division. So it has to handle that bandwidth issue. So here this frequency division multiplexer is overcoming that issues of handling that bandwidth. Okay, these bandwidth ranges are the channels through which various signals travel. Channels must be separated by strip of unused bandwidth, which is guard band. Okay, guard to prevent the signal overlapping. What the guard? The name guard is of explaining, right? It is going to protect something. It is going to yeah, it's about to protecting something. So that the signal should not that there will be no interference between the signals. So right, so it will prevent the overlapping between the signals. So this is what this guard band is doing. That is what here it is explaining. Channels must be separated by the strips of unused bandwidth to prevent the signal overlapping. Okay. Then time division multiplexing. Time division multiplexing assigns time slots to each channel repeatedly. What it is doing? What basically this multiplex is doing? Sender, multiplexer. For every sender, there will be every channel. So from channel to the receiver, right? So what time division is doing in that? For every channel, it is allotting time. So if sender 1 is sending message, the channel 1 having some 3 seconds of time. After 3 seconds, it is going to the receiver. So when can the sender 2 can send the message? After 4th second. So when the channel 1 finish its time slot, now it is time for the sender 2 to transmit the item. Okay, then sender 2 will transmit in that particular time. And so, till that sender end, it is having some time slot. Okay, so every channel is having the time slot. In that time slot only, sender can send a message. So that is what time division multiplexing. This is I'm from the diagram of categorization. I told you it is a digital process, right? So that's what here that can be applied when the data rate capacity of the transmission medium is greater than the data rate required by sending the and receiving device. Okay, transmission medium having some capacity of the data rate. Okay, if there is no transmission medium, it is having some capacity only. It can't be overloaded after that capacity, right? So when that data rate capacity is becoming greater, okay, at that time this time division multiplexing solve those issues. Okay, by what it is doing? By selecting the time slot, so that data rate capacity issue can be overcome. Okay, by using this time division multiplexing. Time division multiplexing can be implemented in two ways. One is synchronous time division multiplexing and asynchronous time division multiplexing. What is synchronous and asynchronous? As I said in the earlier, I said there is channel time slot allocation for each channel, right? If we are allocating that, if there is a n number of senders, for n number of senders for each channel, channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, for every channel, if I am allocating the same times again, that is 3 seconds for channel 1, then 3 seconds for channel 2 and 3 seconds for channel 3. So it is called synchronous time division multiplexing. Okay. If it is asynchronous time division multiplexing, then we are using what? 3 seconds. Okay, if the first channel is 3 seconds, then next channel I am allocating for 6 seconds or 7. So it depends on the data which we are sending. I'm allocating the time. Okay, so if the data is a big data, it can't be sent in the 3 seconds, right? So at that time it is taking 7 seconds. At that time it is taking 7 seconds. Okay, then so similarly for the channel 3, it may be again 3 seconds or 4 seconds. So it is not, the time slot is not a, it is not following the same. Okay, this is called asynchronous TDM, that is time division multiplexing. So frames is what? time slots are grouped into the frames. The frame consists of one complete cycle of time slot, including one or more slots dedicated to each sending devices. So this is the example for that frame. If there are 5 inputs, okay. For what Mux's multiplexer is doing here, it is forming the frame. Number of inputs is 5, right? So the frames will also be 5. And that is time slots for each frame should be, number of slots in each frame should be 5, okay. So frame 1, it is having 5 slots, 5 slots, 5 slots. So this is for grouping of time slots into a single frame. Okay, this is a frame concept in this time division multiplexing. Next is multiple access. It is a technique that permits many users to simultaneously access a given frequency allocation. There are multiple access techniques. They are CDMA, TDMA, FDMA. It's also like code division multiple access. This is not multiplexing. Again, I'm telling it is not multiplexing. It is multiple access. Okay, these two are different. So multiple access is simultaneously. Okay, the simultaneously access a given frequency allocation. Okay, so CDMA, TDMA, and FDMA. Code division multiple access, time division multiple access, frequency division multiple access. Okay, well, let us discuss about all the 3 categories. Okay, so frequency division multiple access. Frequency division multiple access is a type of channelization protocol. In this, bandwidth is divided into various frequency bands. Okay, each station is allocated with band to send data, and that band is reserved for particular station for all the time, which is as follows. So this diagram is an example for the frequency division multiple access. Here, each station is allocated with band to send data, and that band, okay, is reserved for particular station only. Okay, that band is reserved for particular station only for all the time. Every time, whenever that band is coming, it is allocated only for that particular base station. Okay, so this is the example diagram for this frequency division multiple access. The frequency bands of different stations are separated by small band of unused frequency, and that unused frequency bands are called as guard band. I already explained in that previous multiplexing, right? Guard band. Unused frequency band is a guard band. What guard band is doing? It prevents the interference of the station. It prevents the overlapping of the signal. Okay, that is what this guard band is. So everywhere this guard band should be there, so it will prevent the to prevent the interference of the station or overlapping of the signals. So guard band is doing the good job in this transmission. Transmission. It is like access method in data link layer, in which data link layer at each station tells its physical layer to make the band pass signal from the data pass to it. Signal is created in the allocated band, and there is no physical multiplexer at the physical layer. Okay. Next is time division multiple access. Time division multiple access is a channelization protocol in which bandwidth of channel is divided into various stations on the time basis. Same like multiplexing, here also what it is doing, station, there what we did with the multiplexing, we created the slot for each signal, right? Each transmitting data for every channel, right? For here, what we are doing, we are creating same time basis. We are giving the time for every station. Okay. So if one station want to send a time, it will send in that particular time only. It can't send in the other station. Next station can't send in this station 1. If it is transmitting the data, then at that time station 2 can't send. The station 2 wants to wait for its own time to send the data. Okay. Each station, so in this we want to note that each station must aware of its beginning of time slot and location of the time slot, right? Otherwise, when can it be transmit? If the station don't know when I want to start to transmit, how it will do this transmission? So, and also the location of the time slot, right? So, station must aware of its beginning of time slot and the location of the time slot. TDMA requires synchronization between different stations. Okay, it is type of access method in the data link layer. At each station, data link layer tells the station to use the allocated time slot. Okay, what it is doing, it is a access method in the data link layer. So in each station, every station, data link layer only, it is telling the station to use the allocated time slot. Okay, code division multiple access. In this code division multiple access, all the station can transmit data simultaneously. Okay. Here, in previously we saw that station, it has to wait, or station having separate bandwidth, it can't transmit data at a time. So this kind of issues we saw in that previous one, right? So in code division multiple access, there is no such cases. All the station can transmit data simultaneously. It also it allows each station to transmit data over the entire frequency all the time. How it is possible? That's what we're going to see here. What it is doing to do this simultaneous transmission, that too in the over the entire frequency all the time. So multiple simultaneous transmission were separated by the unique code. Okay, each user is assigned with the unique code sequence. Okay, here is an example. That is here in this diagram we are having 4 stations, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are 4 stations. In each station, data are coming. That is for station 1, data 1, station 2, D2, station 3, D3, station 4, D4. Okay, now this data has to be transmitted simultaneously. How it will do? So it is carrying one code with it. Okay, like a concept of encryption and decryption. Okay, multiplexer and multiplexer also same like encryption and the decryption. What that code is doing, that code is coming with the data. If data is having like for data 1, I'm considering the code is not 1. Okay, so data 2, I'm considering the code is not 110. So data 3 is having the code is 110. So data 4 is having the code with 111. So it is transmitting with along with the code, so that there will be no overlapping when coming in the receiver line. Okay. So here what it is handling, the simultaneously it is transmitting, but no overlapping because it is having code. So during the demultiplexing, what it will do? It will decrypt the code and send to the receiver. So this is more or less is a concept covering that encryption and decryption process. Okay, that also the encryption decryption also do the same. Okay, so this is what code division multiple access. Let's just discuss something difference. What is the difference between this FDMA versus TDMA? FDMA is entire band of frequencies is divided into multiple radio frequency. Okay, frequency division multiple access, right? As we discussed previously, entire bandwidth of frequency is divided into multiple radio frequency. Okay, each carry allocate to the different user. What TDMA is doing? Its entire bandwidth is shared among different subscribers at fixed determined or dynamically assigned time intervals. Okay, what TDM is doing? FDMA is doing. It is entire bandwidth is band of frequency is divided into multiple radio frequency. That is FDMA. TDMA, it is giving assigning time intervals. Okay, entire bandwidth is shared among different subscribers by assigning the time interval. Okay, so this is the difference between FDMA and TDMA. Okay, FDMA and TDMA. Now, what's the difference between CDMA and TDMA? Okay, what is TDMA? CDMA, as we discussed, right? It is carrying the code. It is transmitting simultaneously by carrying the code for recovered data. I given the concept of encryption and decryption for explaining the CDMA, right? So encryption and decryption also is used for recovering data. The same concept is here. So code, every bandwidth is having unique code. Every data is having unique code to recover the data in the receiver end. Okay. So what TDMA is doing? It is carrying the time intervals. Its entire bandwidth is shared among different subscribers at fixed predetermined or dynamically assigned time interval. Okay, so this is what FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA. So what we discussed, multiple access and multiplexing, right? Multiple access. What is multiplexing? So multiplexing is, it is carrying the what? Its signal will send data is separating into single. It is collecting the signal and combining the data link to the single data link, but it is having a different channel to the end user. That is multiplexing. Multiple accesses. It synchronizes the bandwidth from. It synchronizes simultaneously from the user. Okay. It transmits the data simultaneously. The frequency bandwidth is simultaneously transmitting from one end to the other end. So this is the difference between multiple access and multiplexing. Okay. So, but there we can see that it is having CDMA, FDMA, and wireless division multiplexing. But when it comes to the multiple access, it is having three categories of FDMA, CDMA, and TDMA. Okay, but both are more or less same. While coming on the concept of time division, frequency division, that concepts are same. But what is varying is transmission, how we are transmitting. Okay, so this is what this video is about. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you.